Hello, Sir David the Bard coming to you out of Australia, down under in Kangaroo City. And for the Danites, here I'll always be. I never leave. And I usually dress in a kangaroo costume, so it's hard for you to find me. I don't hop as good, and I'm a 300-pound kangaroo, but that'll just give you a little bit of a hint. Listen, I wanted to get something off my chest. And what it is about 80 pounds of fat and boobs. Something else. It's something else. You know, when I lived in Utah, now I don't live in Utah right now. I'm in Australia, but I'm going to talk to you as if I lived in Utah, okay? And it's the only way I know how to tell a story. Okay. This is about Utah drivers on the road. Now, I've lived in California. I've lived in Massachusetts. I've lived in Missouri. I've lived in Kansas. I've lived in, and I've driven all over the country. I was a bus driver for many years at BYU, taking skiers up into the high country and into the desert and whatever. I was a charter bus driver, drove to California and back all the time from Utah. So I have some driving experience. Now, I shouldn't do a video like this unless I'm an expert, okay? I have not got a ticket in over 43 years. Not even a parking ticket. I haven't been stopped by anybody. And I've driven, you know, to Branson. I told you that the other day. Branson, Missouri, and Kansas, all across the country. I've never been stopped except once when I tried to kill myself. Someone ratted me out, and the Cheyenne, Wyoming police pulled me over for no reason. I was innocent. There's the secret sign of the atheist that you're lying your ass off. Yeah, hey, 1,100 milligrams of insulin with another 800 milligrams of short-acting insulin and so many pills that, you know, you had to put them on a plate because you couldn't hold them all in your hand. Now, I think driving like that, the Bard was doing okay. The Highway Patrol didn't think so. And so I got the red light, and I pulled over. And, you know, it reminded me when the officer says, well, do you know why we stopped you? And I said, because I've taken so much Valium and insulin and pain medications hung together that I don't feel any pain. And he goes, that's why. And he said, you seem to be impaired. I said, that's what my mother said when I was born. That's what my teacher said when I went to school. You seem impaired. Well, I didn't want to debate it with him because I was afraid he's going to make me get out of the car and stand up. And I thought, hell, that ain't going to work. I couldn't even crawl. So he was kind. I have to tell you, these Wyoming police, Highway Patrol, I'm going to give him a compliment. He saved my life. There's no doubt about it. And he said, well, Mr. Bard, Sir David. I said, yes, sir. He said, I have two choices here. You're definitely impaired. I said, well, you're the first one that makes an emphatical statement that, yeah, I am. And I'm not going to debate it, deny it, or confirm it. I have a right to remain silent. I just don't have enough sense to do it. So he goes, you have two choices. One is, I'm going to write you up for a DUI, driving under the influence. I said, but I ain't been drinking. And he said, doesn't matter. Nowadays, you can be a DUI on drugs. And will I have prescriptions for all those drugs? And he said, yeah, but not 10,000 of them in one day. And I go, Well, I have a hard time remembering when I'm supposed to take them, and when I get behind, I try to catch up. He said, listen, it's jail and the car impounded and a DUI in a foreign state. Or I can send you to a hospital. Now, I wasn't in my right mind because I don't have a right mind, but I was further from it than I usually am. And I said, which should I take? The bard goes, hospital, hospital. As soon as that, I passed out cold. They had to drag me out of the car. They had to drag me onto an ambulance, and they had to rush me to a hospital. And I remember them cutting my clothes off, and I thought, God, I've died and gone to heaven. This must be Mormon heaven. They're cutting my clothes off of me. Where are the girls? Anyway, yeah, I was in the hospital for a couple of days there. And anyway, that's the first time I've been stopped in 42 or 43 years. So I have some experience, and it's not like I don't drive. I've driven millions of miles in a bus and cars, and never had an accident, and I got stopped there. And back in my 20s, I think I got stopped for speeding once. Listen, I was running, I used to live in Ojai, California, and I had to go to Ventura for my SAT exams to get into BYU. And I had a 57 Chevy, and it just had a 283 two-barrel carburetor, the standard engine in it, but it was cool. I had it painted black, and I had all the interior black, and a little record player up in the back window. You couldn't use, because when the car bounced the record player, it wouldn't work with shit. So anyway, I was a little bit late to go to Ventura from Ojai, and there's a stretch of freeway there to go into Ventura. So I'm cruising along. Now, I'm smart. I mean, I'm only 17 or 18, but God, I've been driving a long time. And I was on the 2-lane road, and the highway patrol went by me. Hey, he's going the wrong way. So I knew I had an open field. So when I hit the freeway, I've only done this twice, both of them as a teenager. When I hit the freeway, I said, it's me and you, babe, and I put her right to the metal, pedal to the metal, and I'm just waving and having a hell of a time. And I drove probably, I don't know, 6 miles at about 110, and I come off the ramp to go down into the town, and I look up in the damn mirror. It's the California Highway Patrol. I go, hell, they didn't know I was speeding. I've never seen him until just now. So I play Mr. Innocent, okay? When I talk to him, I'm raising my hand so he knows I'm lying. And he said, Sir David the Bard, you seem to be in a hurry. I said, no, sir, not especially. He says, well, I've been following you for 5 miles at 100 miles an hour, and you've been pulling away from me. I didn't know they knew how to do that shit. I was just a kid. I thought he had to come up behind me and measure, but he just hung back 2 or 3 miles and watched me. He put his on 100, and I was going 110. So he said, well, it's obvious that you're speeding. And I said, well, whatever you say, sir. I wasn't going to admit it. He says, all right, I'm going to give you a ticket for going 75 and a 65. I said, thank you. I'd appreciate that ticket. He said, I bet you would. So he gave me the ticket. He wrote it all up. He handed it to me. And then he looks down and he says, son, how fast were you going? I said, sir, about 110. He said, I knew it. I knew it. I said, well, I get the ticket now. Hey, it's over. It's over. So, I'm 60, almost 66 years old, and I haven't had accidents and tickets, and I really have a good driving record, and haven't had tickets for years. Now, let me tell you, when I was in Utah, which I'm not, I'm in Australia, I had to drive with the Utah people, and that has been an upsetting experience. Now, I gotta tell you, I took driver's ed. I did take driver's ed. I already knew how to drive by the time junior high or high school, whenever I got my permit there. And there were 3 of us that were in the driver's ed car, and we were all best of friends. And what was his name? I can't think right now. Anyway, he was an older guy. He's younger than I am now, but he was like 53 or something. And all 3 of us could drive. We were perfect drivers as teenagers. And so, Mr. Knott, K-N-O-T-T, that's it, Mr. Knott. I know he's dead, so I can't get sued for Mr. Knott. He was one cool guy. He really was. Older guy. And we had this driver's ed sign, and it was on the back of the car, a great big driver's ed sign. Watch out! Student drivers! And we were so embarrassed because we thought we were older and kind of cool. And so we said, Mr. Knott, he said, listen, can we take that stupid sign off and throw it in the trunk? And he goes, all right, go ahead. So we pulled over, took the student sign off, threw it in the trunk. He says, what do you guys want to do now? I said, hey, let's go to L.A. I want to go to Hollywood. And all the guys go, yeah, let's go to Hollywood. So he goes, all right. So he goes over in the seat, and he's already asleep. We, the 3 of us, drive clear to Hollywood and all the way back without an accident. So I had student driving, and I passed that. And every test I've ever taken, until lately, I've had 100% on every driving test in every state, everywhere I've been, except Utah. I missed one. I had 98%. So anyway, I'm telling you all this shit because I'm going to criticize the Mormon driving population like you won't believe. I am so frustrated. When I was taught to drive in California, when you get on a freeway ramp, you put the pedal to the metal. You're coming up in a quarter of a mile, and everybody's going 60 to 70 miles an hour. If you get up to the top of that ramp and you're going 38 or 46, you're a hazard. You're a hazard. Somebody in a big truck may just rear-end you and shoot you off the side of the road. You've got to be at freeway speed when you start to enter the freeway. That way, some cars will just back off a little bit and give you room. Other cars will just speed up and give you room. But God, if you're a rock in the road, everyone's going around you, and you have caused an accident behind you, but you're just smiling because you never had a ticket. So, Utah, when you start up the damn ramp, go for it. Make sure you're going 65 when you hit the top of that hill, and you can just feed in gently. Everybody else. Now, let me give you another Utah trait. Years ago, Utah was full of pickup trucks. Everybody had a pickup truck. They had a gun rack on the back and an old gun hanging there, and that meant that they had a very large weenie, and the girls liked that. The big girls. I don't think the little girls like that, but anyway, they used to come up on your ass when you're driving, and you might be going 5-6 miles an hour over the speed limit. Come right up on your ass and 2 feet from your bumper and take their car or truck and just hang there and then flash their lights. Now, I'm glad they invented sunroofs. My wife's car has a sunroof. And I just take the sunroof open, and I just give them the damn finger. Well, that makes them mad, and then they go around, give me the, and then you've got a finger fight on your hands. It's finger rage. It's driving finger rage. Okay, so I don't know how you win a finger rage fight. But anyway, they still do that in Utah. Now, they're not driving as many trucks. But somehow they think, even if you're going 70, 75 in a 65, they can come right up behind you, and you deserve to move over. Get the hell out of my way. I'm going to priesthood meeting. I have garments. I can't die. I've never met so many discourteous drivers in my life. Now, in California, you do that in California, we just slam our brakes on and watch you behind us, trying not to hit us and going over the side. Well, in Utah, I'm at an age and stage of life where I don't want anybody to get hurt. Well, I don't know. No, maybe there's some that I want to get hurt. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not going to slam my brakes on. And sometimes I used to just slow down and slow down. Well, I don't even play that game anymore. So I was out years ago. I'm here in Australia now. Years ago, I was out on the freeway, and I was over in the fast lane, the far lane to the left. And I'm going like 6 or 8 miles an hour over the speed limit. And cars are piling up behind me, and I say, screw them. If they want to go around and they want to get a ticket at speeding, I don't care. Well, that's not the way the Highway Patrol felt. They came around and got in the front of me. He turned his lights on, and he takes his hand and goes, move over! I'm like, oh, yes, sir. So, shit, I just moved over. So then I went into the Highway Patrol department, and I said, what is the rule? What is the rule of that fast lane, that left lane? She said, well, it's a passing lane. If you're not passing someone, you're not supposed to be in it. And, well, if you're going 100 and everyone else is going 70, you're passing. She says, well, yeah, then you can use the lane. Utah. Where do they come up with these laws in Utah? So now I don't ride in the fast lane. Now I have another problem, okay? We have an HOV, high occupancy vehicle. If you're, it's a diamond lane, carpool lane. And if you have more than 2 in your car, and I always have the Holy Ghost with me. And Jesus is at the wheel, so I don't. I used to have a hybrid card, my Prius, and it can be in the fast lane no matter what, in the HOV. But anyway, I get in there, and I go up about 7 miles an hour over the speed limit. At 65, I'll go 72. Cars packed up behind me, and they're starting to cross over the double line, which they're not allowed to do. They pass me on the right, then they cross the double line and pass me on the left and come back into position. That's supposed to be a fine and against the law. Well, the line is broken in spots so that if you want to go around somebody, you can go to the right, go fast, and come back over on the left. But the Utah people don't. They're in a hurry. They've got to get to that priesthood meeting and Young Men's Council or whatever. So that pisses me off, that I can't use the fast lane without people coming up and flashing their lights at me. Now, today I went by a sign company. And I played with my new windshield wiper on my new car. On the back hatch, it's on the back window. And I thought I would get a special sign made that says, fuck you. And turn the wiper on, and the flag just comes up. I'm going to jail. I know I'm going to jail. I can't stand driving in Utah. So anyway, I'm still working on my flag idea, but I've seen most of the Utahns drive the SUV vehicles, not the rollover, not the carryover. You know what I'm talking about. Well, they got 4-wheel drive, and I saw them go into a rotary. If you don't know what that is, and many states don't, it's a round circle that there's several roads coming off. It's like a spoke of a wheel. Well, I saw the one gal had 15 kids in the back seat, and she didn't want to wait in the rotary, so she drove up over the curb and into the cement median of the rotary with her 4-wheel drive SUV, and exited that way. I've seen that over and over in Utah. When it snows in Utah, you don't want to be on the road for the first few snows. Utahns take their garments off of themselves and they wrap them around the wheels of the car. Like the car can't skid, it can't get hurt. And you see all these cars with naked Mormons with no garments on, and the wheels are all broken and they're laying up against the freeway ramps. And they're going, God, what happened to my testimony? I thought those garments would protect me. Well, they don't slow down. They don't understand snow. They don't understand ice. And that's pretty scary. So anyway, I wanted to give you this report on Utah drivers. Now, certainly in other states, there are similar drivers. Now, the difference is they're not in the proportion that they are in Utah. In Utah, I would say you're probably looking at 10 or 15% of the driving population that drive the way I just explained. In other states, I've seen 2 or 3%. 2 or 3%. But boy, Utah, you take your life into your hands. So there was something else I was going to say, the dementia got me. So, I know. This has nothing to do with what I was talking about. Okay, I was over at a fancy place the other day, and I had my daughter with me, Allison, and my wife, and it's a really neat place, and they had these beautiful canes. And Allison goes over and she finds this Moses staff. And she goes, "Dad, come here, you need to get this staff so you can walk better." Jeez. All I'd have to do is put on a Moses hat and people go, "Hell, that's a big fat Moses." But the canes underneath of them were just magnificently carved and beautiful. Well, they were only $15. So the Bard has a cane. I told you, I'm going to court in 2 or 3 days, and I'm going to use the cane. It's called my court cane. And Allison said last night, "Dad, make sure you wear that cane into court because he'll feel sorry for you and won't take your money." I go, "Okay." She's so damn funny. She's so funny. So anyway, I have a cane, and it helps a little bit, you know. And I guess I'm losing a little weight. Suddenly, I'm able to get on a couple pairs of clothes I couldn't get on before, but now I'm jumping off the 3rd floor into them rather than the 2nd floor. I don't know if that makes a difference. So anyway, if you haven't learned how to drive in Utah, for God's sakes, go back to driver's ed and learn to get up on the ramp. And good Lord, when you come off of a ramp at 70 miles an hour in a snowstorm, don't come off at 70. Go down to 55, 50 just before you exit and start braking right away. Don't wait till you're down on the light. And I look up at my mirror, and here comes a great big Escalade SUV, and I know it's going to hit me. It's going 70 miles an hour on ice. Now let me mention one more thing about these SUVs in Utah. Be careful when you go into drive-in restaurants in Utah. If you see an SUV in front of you, you might as well get out of the car and go into the restaurant, order, eat, come back out, and the SUV is still there. Now let me tell you why. The Boy Scouts, if they're not being molested by the Mormons, they're in Dairy Queen or Burger King or Arby's or Taco Bell, and they're ordering something. Now, I don't know what it is, folks. I can sit and look at a McDonald's for 3 hours. Nobody comes in. Nobody comes in. So I get in my car and I start around to the drive-up window, and hell, if there isn't 4 or 5 or 6 cars, SUVs. Now, the first one has 19 Boy Scouts in it. Okay, the second car has Grandma and 3 of her adult children who are trying to order a hamburger and explain where the pickle is going to be, ketchup only on one side of the burger, mustard on the other, and take the seeds off of the sesame seed bun. And that takes 20 minutes. And when they come to the window, they hand it to the Mormons, and they go, "Oh, no, we told you to take half the seeds off. You took seeds off half of the bun. Take it back, take it back." I go, "Oh my God, I am buying it." And then you can't back up because you got the Girl Scouts behind you. So anyway, in Utah, disguise your car. And when you see nobody at the drive-up, go like hell. And if you see an SUV get in front of you, get out quick. Get out, go eat. Don't wait for the Mormons to order for the 3 dogs that they have in the back seat. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm glad I'm in Australia. Down here, you know, we just have to dodge the kangaroos on the streets. Thanks.